So welcome to Contingency Reviews, a car that we didn't expect to be filming on the channel at all. This is a 2018 Skoda Fabia 1 litre TSI SE with the 93 horsepower engine. I might have said in a previous video that this is a 2017 car. It had 90 or 95 horsepower, but it's actually 93. We didn't expect to be filming this car. This was provided as a breakdown courtesy car at the last minute for us when the Sanyong Tivoli had a clutch failure in Liverpool. So we haven't got this car for very long. If this video is a bit rough, I do apologise. My mount, I think, is still in the Tivoli, so my lady wife is very kindly helping me out by filming today, and that's just the way that it goes on this channel sometimes. So the third generation Skoda Fabia is a car we've actually had on the channel before. You know, in fact, it's a car that's owned by Mr. Franks, who is the Tweed Jacket Reviews co-founder and my usual videographer. So we have covered one of these extensively before. It was actually in 2018 as well. It was also white and also an SE. Well, this is a hatchback. It has a different engine and a different gearbox, so I think it's worthy of inclusion regardless of whatever circumstances this car has come to us. The engines available in the third generation Fabia were a 1.2, which had 95 or 105 horsepower. Those were only available before May 2017. And then a whole load of 1 litre engines, starting at 60 horsepower non-turbo, 75 horsepower non-turbo, and then this 93 horsepower turbo. And then at the top of the range, the one I'd really recommend you go for is the 110 horsepower engine. That comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox as standard. There were also some diesels, but we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Available on a third generation Fabia are S, S Plus, SE, SE Drive, SEL, Monte Carlo and Redline. I would recommend you go for an SEL or above, because this particular car and the SE, it doesn't have cruise control. The S model doesn't even have air conditioning. And as you'll see from some of the external shots of the car, you don't even get daytime LED running lights unless you go for an SEL or a post-facelift car. The cars were facelifted in October 2018 or thereabouts. The ride on this car is actually very good. It's very compliant. The engine is suitable for town use, although when we were driving back yesterday from the West Midlands in this car, I noticed, because we haven't got a 6th gear, the car was turning over at 3,800 RPM in 5th gear, which was very tiresome, 70 miles an hour, very, very tiresome indeed. So that's just something to bear in mind when you choose your Fabia. The car's actually quite nice to drive. It's actually got a system by which it brakes on the front wheels to help you corner, so it actually handles quite well. Electric power steering setup similar to the set of Lloyd we used to have, and it feels actually rather punchy unless you're on the motorway, where it feels a little bit underpowered. The gearbox is quite nice, despite only being a 5-speed unit, and it's very easy to drive. It's really no problem. This particular model has rear parking sensors, which I would suggest you also get. I also do like the weight of the pedals. The pedal is very, very good in this car. And also the instruments are very clearly laid out. It's easy to find everything that you need at your fingertips. So here we go. Just pull up at the side of the road, just so we can take a look at the exterior and interior of the car in more detail. See, it's a late 67 plate, so it's actually a 2018. It's January 2018, this car. We've got the rear parking sensors on this particular model. Just open the boot. I think the parcel shelf has been taken out of this particular one. To open that down here, we've just got the standard inflation kit and the tyre sealant that these came with. I would recommend a spare wheel. You can get one actually. The boot's actually quite practical. The lip's not as high as a lot of other cars in this class, and of course you can fold the rear seats down. It's got these massive sort of Skoda stroke Seat big hooks for carrying I don't know, curries back from the shop or something. And we have got a boot light, although unlike in my old Seat Toledo, I don't think there is a 12-volt socket. I don't remember if you can take those little parts out there, but it's quite handy. Would recommend you go for one of these with parking sensors. And also we've got a very handy thing to pull the tailgate down, especially when you're doing things with one hand. If I open up the fuel filler flap, we've got the famous Skoda ice scraper. Quite big profile tyres on this car. The ride's quite comfortable actually. I haven't actually looked before. Let's see what size they are. Gosh, I can't really see. Oh, 15-inch wheels on this car. If you get in the back, there's not a huge amount of rear leg room. It's similar to that Ford Fiesta that you might or might not have seen on sensible second-hand reviews. That's my driving position there, and you can see I've really got not much room at all. We have, however, got the rear door pockets in here. No rear armrest, no central armrest either. It's a big sort of storage area for putting stuff in. And if we get to the front, see, Volkswagen Financial Services have supplied the mats themselves. That's very nice of them. Maybe this is a Motability car, it's just come off fleet or something. Quite easy to read instrumentation. I'll just quickly put the key in. And we can turn her on, there we go. So a nice, easy to use computer and things. We can just press the buttons here, cycle through various things. There's driving data. It's very similar to what used to be in not Seat later. There is a Bluetooth on the central screen here for the audio system, and we are using that yesterday to make the calls on the way. This car's got front to sit up standard from all cars with 2018 facelift, which is nice to know. I think that's the only system we have in here, and we can see from the driving data, it just behaves itself. Driving data, the fuel consumption to be refueled, that was yesterday, is 55 miles per gallon, which is very good. Central touchscreen here, it's quite a basic system. I don't think this has Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I did try to connect the phone via Android Auto yesterday and it didn't work, so, you know, there we go. We will try the glove box with the secret mission documents and see if they fit in there. It looks like they actually might. Why, yes sir, that was a turn for the bush, wasn't it? Got big door bins, big cup holders, only 2 electric windows in this car. You need to have an SEL if you wanted the rear electric windows. We have got a stop-start system in here, just manual lights, manual wipers, a speed limiter but no cruise control, no sat nav or anything in here. I think we have a DAB radio. Just turn that down. Oh, we don't actually. Remember, we don't have yeah, we do have a DAB radio. There you go, got DAB radio as well. There's not a huge amount in this touchscreen system. It's you know, it's quite basic, but that's okay. A lot of people I know like this kind of thing. They don't mind all these missing features that I'm, you know, the sort of person who likes luxury, and so I would have an SEL. That's what I would have. That's just me. I do like though this sort of, I think this is plastic, but it's brushed aluminium effect, which is pretty good. And these controls here, the electric mirrors and this door handle, they're all so familiar to me because they're exactly the same as on a Mark IV Seat Toledo. Exactly the same. So is the lack of fabric on the doors, apart from just yeah, it's all very familiar, very much the same parts, as are these mirrors and the ticket clip there. It's actually pretty easy to see. I mean, you know, I recommend the parking sensor. You don't really need the camera or anything in here. And then we have the famous 5-speed gearbox, which means the car is doing 70 miles an hour, 3,800 RPM. Yeah, it's not the best really, but there we go. So look at the engine. Well, viewers, it is I was maybe wrong about earlier. This is the MPI unit, which doesn't have the turbo, so no wonder the thing was so slow. I think this is probably the 60 or 75 brake horsepower version of the engine. It's pretty easy to work on. The MPI I don't think is a wet belt. I can't remember. The TSI certainly is a wet timing belt, so just something to be aware of if you've got one of these cars. Yes, I didn't have any documentation on the car. We don't really know what power output it had, so it's the sort of error that I made. Yes, the famous coolant reservoir from all Volkswagen products dating back from the 90s, I think. Actually, everything's got that. But yeah, you know, the engine only holds about 3.5 litres of oil or something, so they're very cheap to service, these cars, indeed. So viewers, at the end of this contingency review where we've been exploring details and recognising that I think this has got less power in the engine than I thought that it had, should you buy a Skoda Fabia? Well, I prefer the upper trim models with the most powerful engine personally, but a lot of people, this will be all the car that they actually need. I do know a viewer who has one of these with, I think it's this engine and the base level trim, and he thinks it's a very good car. So you know, that's brilliant. Do watch, of course, the wet timing belt engine. It's 1 litre. They have been known to have problems, but apart from that, these are actually very well made cars. They sit on the same platform as the previous generation Volkswagen Polo, and that's a well proven piece of engineering really. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be informed when new videos go live. I do hope that you enjoyed this. Make sure you click the notification bell, and also visit my social media links down below in the video description. Thank you for watching this rather rushed and maybe inaccurate episode of Contingency Reviews.